Welcome to another episode of From the Vault, an exclusive podcast put forth by Empire State Bank. The podcast is dedicated to all things business, strategy, and growth. We are here today with our friends from AREAA. AREAA is a national organization, over 19,000 members across the country, including 45 chapters. So we have with us Queeny, president of the organization, and Jean, the organization's vice president. So ladies, welcome and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Anthony. So my name is Queeny, and I'm the president of the AREAA Brooklyn chapter, the Asian Real Estate Association of America. And I'm also a mortgage banker with Cliffco, so I pretty much live and breathe real estate. You know, my role with AREAA Brooklyn is really bringing people together, whether it's on a educational standpoint or a community standpoint. It's to bridge opportunities in housing and strengthen our community through just networking, relationships, and doing what I do best, which is talk and meet people.
So far, so good.
Thanks. So
Jeannie, go ahead.
I'm Zhou, vice president of Brooklyn, vice president of AREAA Brooklyn.
Very nice. So one of the reasons, Phil, you can expand on this, but one of the reasons you wanted to have this organization on is because, the bank is very involved in the community, and that's one of the goals and mission, of Empire State Bank being involved. And they're a great organization out in Brooklyn, and you are also a board member. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to do that. First of all, welcome to our podcast. Queeny, besides being the president, is also the club's comedian. And,
I sensed that.
So yes, so she brings a lot of enthusiasm to the organization, and I'm kidding, but it's true. She does bring a huge amount of enthusiasm. So, for us at Empire, we got involved at the beginning stages of the Brooklyn chapter being launched for AREAA.
Understood.
I think it was a combination of they wanted to bring in someone from the real estate community, some from the banking. But for the bank, it was important for us because we were doing business in Brooklyn, and there's been a huge Asian community moving in, and we felt we wanted to learn. We wanted to learn about what services, how to do business maybe a little different, and understand. So for the bank and for me personally, this organization has taught me so much that the bank and myself has really benefited over the years. As the chapter began to expand with great leadership, it just continued to grow, continued to get a bigger foot in the community. And it's one of my favorite organizations.
You're not allowed to be biased.
Yeah, no. I said one of.
Okay.
I
One of.
wonder if the other associations are going to hear this.
We'll let them go.
Yeah.
We'll let it go.
So it's one of, but it's I mean, I say it. There's a lot of business, a lot of good business, but it's fun to me. I enjoy the company. I also enjoy learning what real Chinese food is. Because
dig into that one. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Well, they've heard this story so many times, but we'll let everybody hear
Go
it
ahead.
now. I'm going to take you back, and I'll do a quick. Growing up in Brooklyn, coming from a family of Italian heritage, it was our tradition every Friday night to have Chinese food. But it was takeout.
Right.
We were young, and my dad, I guess, only ordered chicken chow mein number 7.
That's it. There you go.
Okay. I lived on 18th Avenue, right, in Brooklyn, from a restaurant that was just recently closed, I believe, Silver Star. I grew up my early childhood just knowing Chinese food was chicken chow mein number 7.
Nothing wrong with that.
When I got a little older, was a teenager, was the first time I went into a Chinese restaurant. And I realized, wow, there's a full menu here.
They have more than what I've been eating.
Like wow, I guess Dad wasn't giving us the menu. But what I know and many of us know is Chinese food is not Chinese food.
Right.
It's American Chinese food.
Of course.
Okay, so these two wonderful people and others have opened my eyes and my stomach to really delicious food. I've enjoyed it. It's a little bit of an experiment, but they coax me through it.
Right.
I'll say one of my better dishes is when they order.
Right.
Usually comes, and I think it's traditional or whatever. It's head and tail. Okay, so when you're ordering,
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What?
So when you order fish,
Right.
You see the head and you see the tail.
Oh,
So they
smiling at you.
Yeah, well,
They're not,
so
they're not smiling.
I've-
I
No,
guarantee
they're not
you
smiling.
that.
I forgot who said it to
They're a
me.
little
but
annoyed.
It was either, maybe Queeny or one of the other board members. They said, Phil, you got to have the best piece of the fish.
Uh-oh.
And I said, what's that? And they said, the fish's cheeks.
Wow.
I said, fish's cheeks? I didn't know fish had cheeks.
Yeah.
But it was the most delicate piece of fish that I've ever had in my life.
There you go.
It goes back and to pull it back into, what we're here in Arya and stuff, it's, we just need to broaden our eyes and in broadening our eyes and dealing with different people, different cultures, it creates so much opportunity.
Right.
Not only for friendships like I have here, but for business.
Right.
The relationship, they always thanking me for helping them, but they don't realize how much they've helped me.
Well,
So
now
I
you let the cat out of the
appreciate
bag. Queenie
I know.
already has the eye.
Yeah,
She's
I
not going
know.
to help you
She's,
ever again. That's it.
yeah.
Queenie's out.
it. Yeah, so,
No more fish cheeks for you.
No.
Yes, that's it. No.
So talk a little bit about the growth of the organization. We were talking a little bit offline before we came on, but it seems, over 19,000 members and 45 chapters in what? Just over 20 years since inception, 22 years?
Yeah, 20 somewhat years.
That's huge. Am I incorrect? Talk about the growth. Talk about how the organization survives and thrives.
It's actually pretty amazing because for me, I think the organization grew and survived because of the members and the other chapters, the other board of directors, and just everyone that's involved in AREAA. And I say that because I first was associated with the chapter as a non-member. I went to an event and just completely blown away. Everyone was just so nice. It was the first time they met me, and all of a sudden I'm like family, right? But even then, this was about 15 years ago. So I was still trying to find my footing and my place within my life and my career. So my impression of AREAA was, you know what, it's great, it's fun, everyone's really nice, I want to keep in touch. But I didn't know whether I wanted to be involved, at least not to the extent that I am now.
Right.
Fast forward
Kind
a
of
few
dip
years.
your toe in, right?
Yeah, I dipped my toe in. I got to
just-
meet people and realized, like, oh, you guys be great friends, right? So fast forward over 10 years, I got invited to the national convention, and again, sort of coming in as a newcomer now and still not really having much of association, but these people just welcomed me with open arms. It was like family all over again. I couldn't find a seat at the gala because I don't even know if I should say this. I didn't buy a ticket for the national convention. I snuck in.
Oh, so you just snuck in?
Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
snuck in.
We won't tell anybody.
See, Gene?
They were just like, oh, it's fine. Like, come sit with us. And I sat at a table with, I think, 12 other women. And these are powerhouses of women. Like, they either own their own real estate company or very successful top producers in the real estate industry, holding executive board positions, whether national or in other chapters. And they were just like, hey, what are you doing here? Tell me what you do.
Right.
Have this. Oh, this is going to be delicious. Oh, this person's really funny. You should talk to them. And I'm like, you don't even know me.
Right.
Why are you so warm and welcoming, right? And then I started paying attention to the breakout sessions and what AREAA actually stands for and what they have to bring to the table. I left that national convention thinking to myself, I need to be a part of this. I need to be a part of it on a higher leadership level so then I can expand this and help it grow.
Right.
And as I met people throughout my presidency, and even before that when I was VPing, everyone had the same notion, I realized, even from other chapters in other states. They were all like, oh, I love this chapter. I love AREAA. I love, what we stand for. So I want to expand this and spread the word. And just like that, in 20 years, it was created.
Fire. That's
and
it.
then it's on fire.
Right,
And I think
right.
it's the same notion. It's the want to be a family, the want to expand the knowledge, to expand the mission from one person to the next. And that's kind of how any association grows, right?
So what Queeny is saying is the strength of that organization, okay, and why it grows and why it'll continue to grow. As someone that was not part of the Asian community, but they welcome everybody in.
Right.
I will always say that I've never been welcomed into a community as I've been welcomed into AREAA.
Wow.
Okay, somebody's hosting Chinese New Year, I could be the only one sitting in the room of 1,000 people.
Right.
That is not Asian. And I feel more welcomed than sometimes when I sit in rooms
Wow.
where, I'm like everybody else.
Right.
So that is the strength. The strength is the warmness of a community that is focused on business, focused on enhancing the mission of the organization. So
Yeah.
it's there. I mean, that's what I really believe it is. I mean, I've been welcomed like I've never been welcomed to any place.
At least you didn't kick him out, right? Thank God.
They've
I mean,
tried, but I won't.
Yeah,
leave.
I was gonna say like
I'm not leaving.
I'm advocating for that, but like
Yeah.
they all said no to me.
Right.
So in addition to the ancillary value of growth and the feeling you said both of you described that you get and the welcoming, what are actual nuts and bolts of
Yeah.
what membership entails, and what does a member receive
Right.
for membership, for lack of a better term?
Well, I mean, first of all, nationally, AREA's mission is to promote sustainable housing and
Right.
home ownership, right? Opportunities for the AAPI community. So even though it is focused on the Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, it doesn't mean that if you're not part of the AAPI community, we don't care, right? I think housing sustainability is important. It doesn't really matter who you are, what your background is. But that is the main focal group. But we don't actually just focus on advocacy. We do also, like I said before, focus on education, providing resources for not just the community, but especially our members. That's kind of one of the perks of being a member, right? We want to be able to bring to the forefront, hey, when you throw your name in the hat to join as part of like AREA, and it's not expensive to do that either. Firstly, it's a relationship.
Right.
You instantly join a network of 19,000 people. You can call to a different state and say, hey, I have a client who's looking to buy in California. Refer
There's
someone good to
inherent
me.
value right there. Right there. Yeah.
Right? And how important is it to refer someone and know that that person is going to be taken care of? Because it's your name on the line when you refer someone to anyone, right? So AREA also has that accountability because all the members, their name and everything is on the database, right? So it's not saying like, hey, if that person doesn't treat your referral correctly, that they're going to get in trouble. But as someone who is saying, hey, I want to throw my name in this, reach out to me if you need help, they know that they have to be responsible and have accountability to that. So that network is what our members are getting. So that's the first thing. But next to that, secondly, it's access to the education, the resources, and advocacy at a national level. Just like how I said, if you have a client in like California, you can call them. We have chapters there, and they can help you. The 45 chapters is national. It's in all other states too. So that's the education you will get on that standpoint. And lastly, it's really being a part of something bigger than just yourself.
Right.
You're part of a movement that's helping to shape the housing opportunities, fair lending practices, and policy decisions as a community that you won't have access to by yourself. We have Policy Day that we go to. Actually, we don't call it Policy Day anymore. What do we call it now, Jean? Do you remember? Our Fair Housing Summit?
Fair Housing Summit.
That sounds much better.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to lob that one to you because Jean's been to a few. We've been to a few together as well, where we actually go to Washington and have a voice to speak about certain fair housing policies, certain credit policies that we want to advocate for, and we go as a group. It's not like we go
almost
individually.
19,000 deep. You got a voice. They're going to listen, right?
You know,
you have a good platform.
We're speaking to our individual respective senators and elected officials for our state. But we're going in as a group with the same 3-point mission, the same 3 policies that we want to advocate for. So it's not like I'm going to go in and say whatever I'm thinking.
Right.
No, we're uniformed. So that's a huge voice that you wouldn't have on your own.
So far, I think I attended 3 Fair Housing Summit. The first year when I went there, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know why we were there.
Okay.
And the second year, I have a better understanding about AREA's national mission. And we went there to advocate to amplify our voice. Each year, I think we have, at least a few hundred people
That's amazing.
attend. We show up in DC. After that, I think it's also about a celebration.
Okay. Gotta have a little party afterwards, right? A little after party.
Each
Oh,
year,
it's
yes,
always
a party.
Well, that's
And,
I don't think we should
Yeah.
talk about the AREAA parties
No AREAA
because
party?
they're the finest parties you'll ever find.
well, that's what I was going to say. I wanted to expand. You said the gala. So I know, based on some rudimentary research, right, that you guys host amazing events, which is also a member benefit, right? Because now you're bringing folks together, members, non-members, to network, communicate, and strengthen their networks, correct? So talk a little bit about the events, the schedule, what, anything coming up, or what are your favorites that you guys put on?
Well, let's talk about the fancy stuff first.
Let's do
right?
fancy.
Our
I love
galas,
fancy.
Right. So on a chapter level, on a local level, one of our nicest events out of the year is our installation gala.
Okay.
Right. I think we throw. I want to call it a party because that's how I feel about
Right.
it. But it's an installation gala where we introduce the new board of director members for the incoming year. It's actually a grand event because it's a celebration for the chapter. It's
Right.
a celebration for the association. It's a celebration for the board of directors from the previous year and a welcome for the new board of directors, which is huge because that's what makes the association,
Right.
makes the chapter. So we would rent out. Every state and every chapter does it a little differently.
Of
There's
course.
no rule book that
Right.
says, hey, you have to do it this way. But as far as I'm concerned, I think Brooklyn likes to.
Brooklyn does
we
the
love
best. We
food.
could say that.
We do the best.
I could say it.
actually.
You don't have to say it. I say
heard
it.
that
Brooklyn's
from
the
a few
best. Yeah.
people. No, but we love food, right? As Phil had said, Chinese food. So I feel like our galas are always, no one walks away hungry. There's
Yeah, that's a good
always
thing.
a ton of food. The last few years, I think we had at least 400 people at
Those are big
each
events. Those are
of the
big events.
gala. Yeah.
400 people.
And we have music, we have entertainment. Everyone's dressed to the T, right? You wear nice like dresses for the woman. Phil wears his suit, right?
And sometimes I've actually put on the Chinese jacket.
Yes.
Here's the question: has he ever worn a tie?
I used to.
Oh, see, I just threw that out there.
Actually,
We'd have to roll
I don't
the
think I've ever
videotape, go
seen
back,
you wear
check
a
the footage.
tie.
Pre-
For as long as I've known you.
Pre-COVID ties. I couldn't find my ties during COVID. So,
That's it. He lost the box.
So I lost the ties.
He lost all the ties.
And I do
All
say,
the ties
if you're in the
disappeared.
tie business, get out of it because I don't think ties are going to be.
I don't think they're coming back.
Phil had mentioned just now the Chinese outfit, right? We try to position our gala near Chinese New Year, near Lunar New Year.
Okay.
So there's a very heavy Asian theme that shadows over the gala.
Right.
We have like the lion dance, which is
Cool.
grand, right? We try to dress in as much of like an Oriental theme as possible.
Right.
A lot of red.
Lots of
Lot
red.
of red.
Lots
That's,
of
I mean,
red.
that's the lucky
Yeah.
color,
Right,
right? Everyone
right,
knows red.
right.
It brings fortune, right? But yes, I think Phil had actually worn the like an Asian
Like a traditional.
jacket, a traditional
Yeah.
Chinese like
That's cool.
jacket. It was very nice.
We're gonna see if we can find some footage and like put it right here. I'll see if we can find it.
Yes.
Find like a
Yeah,
photo.
I have.
And we'll have it
Sure.
dropped in.
I
Oh,
can
there-
provide
Oh, you
it.
have
She's
it?
been
Good.
holding it.
All right,
She's
if
been
you have
holding
it,
it.
you're
I
gonna
have
text
it.
that to me
Yes.
immediately
Yeah.
after.
She has it.
So you're talking about bringing together culture, growing businesses. Let's talk a little bit about the area, Brooklyn itself, right? So we always say Staten Island is a unique animal unto itself.
Let me just jump in.
Oh, sure.
Okay, for a second, because it's focused Brooklyn. They're the Brooklyn chapter, but the Brooklyn chapter covers Staten Island.
Right, makes sense.
Okay, under Queeny and Jean's leadership this year, more and more, the Brooklyn chapter of AREAA is coming into Staten Island,
Great.
and both of them developed an excellent relationship with Cyborg.
Great.
And talking about events, we're going to do an event, I think, coming up in October.
In a few weeks, yeah.
Yeah, in a few weeks, about commercial real estate. So what they also have done, which is unbelievable, is they take their strength and they share it with other organizations. Okay,
That's unique. Most people keep it to themselves. They don't want to share the secret sauce, right?
And not to get away from your really question, but I think it's a very important point. As Queeny and Jean talk, the fact that they operate the organization where it's opened,
Mhm.
okay, allows other people to come in, like Empire, and learn, connect. But it all comes from what you used as an example when you wanted a gala, and I can give you 1,000 of those. How you could sit down, not know a person at the table, and before you're done, people are serving me, people are helping me, people asking me, I find. One of the ones that blew me away, I'm a person of stories, you know that, is it was just last year, I attended a New Year for a real estate company. Okay, I remember it was off 86th Street and 20-something Avenue, the restaurant. You may have been there. And I was one of few and the real estate broker was on the stage, and their events are usually 1,000 people. So you're in this room like with 1,000 people eating up a storm.
Right. Of course.
From the podium, as he's speaking in Chinese, which most of the room understood what he was saying, he stopped and he recognized me and apologized to me. I'm talking in front of 1,000 people.
Wow.
Stopped and apologized that he was speaking in Chinese, but said he would come over and explain to me what I was saying. That just blew me
Nobody
away.
else would do that. No one else would do that.
Think about the events we've gone to.
Yeah, no one would do that.
Right,
they wouldn't even pay you the time of day.
Right? So, but that's just an example which I believe gives them the strength to keep growing and who they are and to be reckoned with because they welcome.
Right.
And that's something, believe it or not,
it matters.
It matters. And in most other parts, it's no longer here.
Right.
So I will always say that about this organization and about their culture. Honestly, about their culture. It's a very welcoming culture that welcomes everybody in.
So embracing Brooklyn and Staten Island.
Yeah,
there's got to be. So I said we're a unique animal, right? Because we are. Staten Island is what it is. But Brooklyn is also its own unique animal. So talk a little bit about, what it's like representing Brooklyn, anything that you're seeing in the marketplace, tips, tricks, anything that comes to mind. Focused. I mean, let's talk about Staten Island too, but what are you seeing overall?
I mean, just like you said, Brooklyn is definitely unique. It's super dynamic. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, and I still live in Brooklyn.
Nice.
So I understand how diverse it is. I understand how it's not a one size fits all for anyone.
Right.
And being in the real estate industry, I'm like a chameleon. Everyone I speak to, you
I like
speak
that
to
analogy.
them a certain way, right? Right now, I am seeing real estate talk a little bit. I'm seeing low inventory. People are still a little resistant on rates, but there's always a lack of knowledge. And I don't say that in a sense where it's just Brooklyn having a lack of knowledge. It's more of the ever-changing market, ever-changing rules and regulations.
Right.
The normal homeowner or the regular homeowner that's not in the industry or someone who wants to purchase real estate, you can never catch up with all that. It's impossible.
Right.
Rules are changing all the time. Rates are changing all the time. The economic news is changing all the time. So what I'm seeing is the more we're giving the ability to, for anyone to have access to this knowledge or this network or just resources, the more the community is expanding, the more real estate is expanding. And that's why Brooklyn has gotten from where it was 15 years ago to being one of the most expensive boroughs to purchase in, and Staten Island now. So being in the real estate industry again, I've noticed in the past 2 years, Staten Island has just shot up in terms of real estate. Like, a lot of people are actually moving out of Brooklyn into Staten Island.
And then they go to Jersey, and then they go to Florida. That's the typical.
I think Florida is kind of an age thing, right?
Right. Well, that's why I said eventually.
Yes.
It takes a little while, but we're there. Some of us are there.
Eventually.
Don't tell me. What do you mean? But yes, I think that, and it's acknowledgement that, okay, if we are providing the correct resources to our community, the community will grow.
And what I think is important about what you said is I have a lot of realtor friends, and I think sometimes in the industry, there's a lot of people who value and understand what realtors do. And then there are other guys and gals who just think, I'll do it myself, right? And they don't understand. But I think, to your point, that now the consumer or the person buying it wants to be more educated. They want to know what's going on. And you're right, they could never keep up, right? It just keeps coming in, the information. So you actually empower and give more value to using an agent to someone who may be on the fence and saying,
100%.
I'll just go, I'll do a FSBO, or I'll just, I'll check it out on Zillow and put a down payment on. I think there's real value there to educate, and I'm going to use myself as an example, to educate someone like me with a home who's not really in the real estate industry, right?
Yeah, and that's what AREAA is also here to do.
Yeah.
We don't just throw amazing galas, right? We have
Well, that's what brings them in, though,
the
right?
the
There you
galas.
go.
It's kind of like the shiny new toy.
You need that.
But then we have the educational events, right? And we start from top down. We're educating the members who are usually agents, loan officers, or whatnot, so then they can go and provide that knowledge to the consumer, right? I was actually talking to Jean about, the Brooklyn market and looking ahead, and I know she has a ton to say about that too.
What's your hot take on Brooklyn? Go. What do we got? What's coming up?
Specifically in South Brooklyn, I'm seeing more second generation of immigrant families stepping into the market as first-time buyer.
Okay.
This is a new trend because earlier in my career, I've seen more first generation people who have children still in school, but they were able to buy. But this become new now. I think many of the buyers are under 30. They just started their career.
Right.
They have not started their own families yet. So with a stable income and financial help from the parents, they were able to buy.
Right.
With that being said, I think this is related to another trend I'm seeing in South Brooklyn now. I think home ownership here today is more often a two-generation effort.
Right.
The parents,
I agree.
whether or not they are homeowners, they make a bigger contribution to their children's down payment.
Right.
While the kids bring in a steady income. This is what makes home ownership possible today in today's pricing environment.
Yeah, it's crazy. Right?
Very true.
As much as I say I'm not going to do that for my son, I'm going to do it. We're going to take care of him. He's only 5, but I got time. I got time.
Mine is 6, and I said the same thing when I was pregnant, when he was just 1 or 2 years old. And I'm like, I'm not going to just make his path so smooth. I'm going to let him go through hardship. I want him to start working when
Meanwhile,
he's young.
he's probably just as spoiled as my son. We should get him together because I
Yeah,
tried to
we
make
should get them
believe.
together,
I make
yeah.
believe he's not, but I tell my wife, like, he's a little spoiled. But that's,
Same thing.
Right.
I make believe he's not either, and at home I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do with this kid when he grows up?
So where you spoke specifically about Brooklyn, but are you seeing any trends with migration from Brooklyn to Staten Island versus Staten Island to Brooklyn versus anywhere else? In other words,
Brooklyn
where people,
to Staten Island.
Brooklyn.
That's
you're
what I'm
seeing that more. Okay, interesting. Because I feel
100%.
like now that used to be a while ago, I feel like, and again, not in the industry, but I feel like I saw that years ago and I didn't know whether that trend had changed.
I mean, it's certainly, they're correct. It's happening, and I think it's happening for multiple reasons. I think one is because the inventory in Brooklyn is, number one, not there,
Right.
but very expensive.
Extremely, yeah.
But this is maybe more of a question to both of you is, I think, and it may be the second generation, or it may be the combined first and second, where I would look at Brooklyn and say someone would buy that 2-family, that 3-family house and live, that's how I grew up, in a 2-family house, and live in one and you rent at the top. I'm starting to see the migration to more 1-family homes, which Staten Island offers. So I interpret that as, especially with the second generation, is, you know what? I want a little more grass in front of my house. I want to maybe put a pool in the back, right? I maybe want to do that where that may be limited in Brooklyn. So that's what I'm seeing. So I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned the multifamilies. I think in the area South Brooklyn, multifamily properties will continue to be most desirable. This allows the new buyer, to live in one unit and get rental income to help the mortgage. This will continue to make multifamilies most sought after in the area.
Makes sense.
Because affordability is still the biggest challenge.
Yeah. So, and I agree with you because I finance a lot of those properties, but I also, what I'm seeing, and I don't know that I'm right, but I'm seeing as that second generation gets that job, becomes more financially stable, and maybe has the aid of their parents helping them, they want to change that dynamic, which is why I came to Staten Island many, many years ago, right? I I grew up in Brooklyn, and yeah, I had a two-family house and shared a driveway, and no, there was no pool in the backyard. You know, it was just my father's fig tree.
Right.
Okay.
Nice. But you need the fig tree.
Yeah,
You need it.
and you know, you come to another area, whether it's a Staten Island, whether you go to Long Island, whether you go, you know, you get out of that city and you go more towards a suburb. And you know, some people skip over Staten Island and go to Jersey. So I think as the community becomes more Americanized, okay, you will see the desires are different, and that will continue, okay. And I think it's been like that through, through all the time.
Right.
I mean, like taking my parents, like they came, they needed to have that two-family house and the rental income, and they knew Brooklyn, and you know that's where they wanted to live, and the store was so close, and they walked. Well, today it's different. Today you have a car.
Right.
Today you don't have to walk up onto 18th Avenue, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that enables you to look past that into places like Staten Island and stuff.
So actually, I think both of you are extremely correct in a sense where
I like to be correct with Gene because Gene's very, very.
yes, yeah. If you're correct with Gene, you know you're right.
Right.
I mean,
That's nice.
that's like
Always
a
been.
rule of thumb.
Right.
Yes.
But what I've been seeing is actually with the increase of financial literacy, people are understanding more on how do I build that generational wealth? And real estate is always a safe pocket to park your car in.
As
right?
long as you know what you're doing, though.
Yes.
Right.
And
That's the trick.
That's where Arya
That's
comes
where
in
you
with all
come
the
in, right.
resources,
Yep.
right? But what I'm seeing now is people in even their late 20s, they're coming to me saying, hey, I want to get a mortgage to buy this house, let's say in Staten Island, right? Because, or like their early 30s, and they're like, oh, I'm expanding my family. I just got married. My wife's pregnant, or whatever the case may be. And then they're like, oh, but I also own a property here where I'm collecting rent. You know, so they want that white picket fence, that pool, that house for them to live in, but they're not forgetting that real estate is also a huge income producing vehicle.
Right.
And instead of saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to live like my parents where I buy a two-family, live in one unit and rent out the other, I'm going to buy the house and then buy the two-family just for rent.
Right.
Right? So they're actually owning more real estate at a younger age. And I think that attributes to that is the financial literacy, just the younger generation making more money, right? And that's the parents setting that road for them.
And I think it also comes from using some of my background, is that it comes from the parents, the family has taught them the value of money.
Right.
I will say, and I'm part of it, I grew up through a generation that every minute I looked at my statement and was worth more money because the stock market was going crazy. Where I believe, especially from your community, where, like you said, real estate, maybe it'll fluctuate a little down, but it's always there, right? That piece of real estate, you could touch it, you could feel it, it's not going anywhere. What's on my statement comes and disappears. And I think a lot of that is from the cultural background that when you get into my generation, which lived through that period of, wow, I can make money not doing anything, we've lost sight of that.
Right.
Maybe my parents and what they try to teach us, but I think that's very, very different about their community. So they, like you gave the example, they'll think about that investment property before they think about the white fence.
Right. Well,
we were buying Mercedes and stuff that we couldn't afford before we even thought there was a fence.
That's funny.
But
Unfortunately, people are still doing that. Though.
Well, but
I was going to say that.
But they're still doing it.
That's where, like,
it's just not Mercedes anymore. It's like Teslas.
Yeah, whatever, right. So, but that's where I think as the culture gets further away, the generations start to think different, and hopefully, your community doesn't go as far as as us. Okay.
One of the things that, as you were speaking, I was thinking about, and again, the ignorance of not being in the real estate industry, not being a banking professional, right? But I feel like, to your point and to Phil's point, there are more products. I don't know if that's the right term, but there's more products available for consumers who don't really know, like myself, right? To engage and become involved in, whether it's a second home, whether it's refinancing. But I mean, I know Empire has, and correct me if I'm wrong, a specific product just for, I mean, it's not just the Brooklyn market, but geared towards the Brooklyn market and housing.
Yeah, and going to answer that two ways. First, I'll address the product. Yes, I mean, we do, one of our, we'll call it niches that we do quite a bit business is we focus on investment property, so you can't live there, right? And as Gene was saying, especially in Brooklyn, Queens, there's a lot of 2, 3, 4 family homes, okay? As Queeny was saying, is they like to buy those for investment, or maybe, in some cases live in it, but for investment. So we have a product that we finance those. We're comfortable with not having to verify income.
Right.
Okay. So this gives the opportunity for people that may have had wealth but haven't began their financial growth of having a steady stream of income, is to buy these homes to create that stream of income from that rental. So it is the best performing portfolio we have in the bank.
Right.
It weathered COVID without a hitch, okay, because the community makes larger down payments.
Right.
The community respects money, and the community takes making their payment serious.
Right.
Which is something that I can relate to. It goes back to my father's day. My father threw a party when he paid off his mortgage.
That's great.
I refinanced my house 5 times already.
Right. I was going to say. The rest of us have just accepted we're going to have a mortgage till the day we die, pretty much, right?
But I want to say something else to your point. You talk about all these dynamic products and stuff, and they're certainly there. I lived through a period where products were being offered to people that should have never gotten that products. Right. And that was the mortgage debacle back in 07, 08, 09. Because people just wanted something they couldn't afford. Wall Street created something creative. A lot of the mortgage industry and attorneys ignored, hitting everybody. This is going to go good for my career. And people were taking loans, getting 100% financing, 105%. I had negative amortization. And for the most part, people had no idea what they signed.
Right.
Because it just get put in for sign. And that's why we saw 07, 08, because that first person that questioned what I signed made the whole market.
Thank God I wasn't buying a house, because I would have been the guy that signed it.
I was in the mortgage industry during
I wouldn't
that
have known.
time.
Yeah. What I want to say, and I'm very comfortable in saying it with Gene and Queeny, you need to find everybody. You need to find the right realtor. You need to find the right attorney. You need to find the right mortgage professional that's going to look for your interest, not solely their interest. Okay. And that's very important, because yes, you can get that education, you can get that, but you need to spend the time seeking out those individuals in the process. And when you find them, don't ever let go.
Right, you keep them. That's it.
Don't ever let go. And bringing that into AREAA, that's what you find in AREAA. You find the opportunity to find all these different professionals, because at their membership, you'll have bankers, you'll have mortgage people, you'll have real estate agents, you'll have real estate brokers, you have attorneys, you have title companies. It gives you the chance to be on an ongoing interview before you need that person.
That's interesting.
Actually, one factor in a transaction that I feel usually isn't a hot topic, and it's going to become one, and it actually is already sort of becoming one.
Heard it
is
here
insurance.
first.
Heard it here first.
Heard it here
Insurance person.
Right.
Because of everything that's been happening nationally, there has been an uptick in terms of like premium amount and things like that, right? And just like what could be covered, what can't be covered. So just last year, you buy a home, you buy homeowners insurance. It's just kind of, it is, right? It's part of the process, very easy to do. You know, go online and you can buy one. But because of all the different caveats and how premiums have changed and how coverage is decided on, it's actually best now to talk to a live person
Right.
A factor that used to be able to get done within 15 minutes online, it's actually better to talk to a live person now and walk through like the different endorsements, the different coverages, prices, because that can make or break a deal,
Yeah.
especially if you're getting a mortgage. So I'm seeing more of that. And some of our members are actually also insurance people, right? So we do cover all different aspects of the real estate industry in terms of professionals. What Phil was saying, it's you find your A team and you stick to
Right. You
that.
keep them.
Yeah,
Never let them go.
never let
Oh,
them
no,
go.
it's you know, when you go into a transaction, it's funny because people buying a home for $1 million, right? It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Today it doesn't seem that because everything's $1 million. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of commitment. Okay, it's either your down payment you're putting in, it's that mortgage payment you're responsible, and they chins on the craziest things.
Right.
Right. They chins on finding the right attorney because this one will do it real cheap.
Right.
Okay. They chins, you're talking insurance. And I didn't think about that, but it's coming to my mind is, you could, well, a lot of times what'll happen is a consumer will go in, I need insurance, and they quote a premium. And the premium seems a little high, but maybe the individual doesn't want to lose it. So they'll give them less coverage and make them vulnerable.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why what Queenie's saying, speak to them, understand. And from the consumer standpoint, listen, get educated. And that's why it's extremely important. And then, as we talked in AREAA, that's all the education.
Right.
That's all the education they offer. It's not only, for their membership, it's, because I look at it this way. Every member may be in a business, but they're a consumer.
Right.
At the same time.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I have to be a little biased here because it is the Asian Real Estate Association of America, right? So what we've been doing this year that I don't think we've had a custom of doing in previous years is some of our educational classes. We're doing 2 classes. We're doing one in English and we're doing one in Chinese.
That's great.
And that's because at the end of the day, there's a huge Chinese, there's a huge Asian community in Brooklyn and in Staten
And
Island
Staten
as
Island,
well.
yeah, absolutely.
And yes, as Americanized as the next generation can be, there's still a huge pocket of individuals who are either immigrants or just because you're born here doesn't mean you have to be 100% fluent in English.
Right.
And what if you're not? How are you going to buy real estate? How are you going to understand the caveats between that? So we want to educate our primarily Chinese-speaking agents on certain things, so then they can now serve that Chinese-speaking community as well. And that goes back to Phil's point about back in the day, you can sign things and not know what you're signing if it's not in a language that you're fluent in. And what if you don't have that A team that is also knowledgeable in all those aspects to now educate you in a language that you can understand? So I think that's pretty amazing.
yeah. So the session that I'm doing, obviously, I'm doing it in English.
Oh, wait, you are? You're
yes,
supposed to do it in
but
Chinese.
I understand.
Wait, we're going to surprise you.
You're
We got
going
something in
to
store.
teach me Chinese for the second one,
Okay.
which is going to be
Jean's actually better at that, so she's going to teach you the
okay,
Chinese.
good. So good. Then I'm going to have Jean. But I mean, I'm laughing, but it's all serious stuff because at the end of the day, you got to find the honest, knowledgeable people, and that's what AREAA attracts. That's what they spend time educating. And, as Queeny was saying, they do it in English and in Chinese. Well, in Staten Island, we're doing the one in English,
Right.
Because we're going to attract those individuals. But also, when you're that first generation in this country, you feel a lot more comfortable
Of course,
speaking your own language.
Absolutely.
And that's very hard. I mean, it was no different when the Italians came to this country. It's no different. It's the same story. That they spoke Italian, they spoke to people that spoke Italian because they're more comfortable. As the generations go and, and you see it, well, yeah, you'll see they'll adopt more English, but now they understand more. So it's just, it's an evolution that'll happen through every culture that comes into this country. That's what this country is.
So it's interesting because one of the recurring themes throughout this podcast series has been sort of forming and building that team, right? Forming strategic alliances with whether it's your bank, your broker, your realtor, your accountant. And we've had some of these folks on. So from an organizational standpoint, I ask you guys, what are sort of some of the most important relationships as an organization that you guys look to build with other, whether it be other industries or professionals? What do you think is, one of the most important things as AREAA that you guys form alliances with?
I mean, it goes back to the Rolodex of professionals that we surround ourselves with. And when I say that, it's lenders, developers, real estate agents, title people, insurance people. Everyone in the real estate industry
Right.
are relationships and powerful alliances that we associate ourselves with, because that's the voice that we're
Representing, right?
that we're representing, right? But we do try to also think a little bit outside of the box, where we had made relationships with people in hospitality, local small businesses.
Right.
Right? We can't forget that as
Yeah.
well, because that's also what builds the community. And through those relationships, just as an example, let's say it's a relationship that we've built through hospitality, right? That will enable us to find space for our events,
Right.
or sponsor some of our events. Because at the end of the day, we are a nonprofit association. We work and able to provide based on sponsorship,
Right.
whether it's monetary sponsorship or sponsoring the food for our events, sponsoring the space for our events. All of that, whether, I can't say one is stronger than the other. Like, any type of relationship we build contributes to us growing and doing more. So I would say, in terms of real estate, it would be the lenders, developers, titles, attorney, real estate agents,
Because you cover the full breadth, right?
all of it. Yeah.
Because even in the second time you said it, you added developers. We didn't talk about developers 5 minutes ago, but you keep expanding. So the scope and
Yeah.
people that represent and are important are really anyone in the industry.
And all of it is a resource. So
Right.
one of the events that we're working on as well is showcasing one of the new developments in Brooklyn, in downtown Brooklyn.
Makes sense, yeah.
And yes, we're going to be able to showcase the development, but it's also a networking mixer. Everyone can come, all our members can come, enjoy a few hours of meeting other members, getting acquainted with what new developments look like, and it's exposure that they may not know how to go and find on their own. Right. So it's the list doesn't end, because there's always more we can do.
And focusing, on membership for AREAA, okay, $150 or something like that to be.
Oh yeah. Actually, it's $150.
$150.
So it's a layup to get in.
Yeah.
A year.
Oh, it's $150, and I say,
You should look at that. You should,
I say,
between you, just up that a little.
today you go to a diner for breakfast.
That's what
It
I'm
costs
saying,
you $150. Okay?
$25 to go to McDonald's drive-thru.
But what most people miss, and it's sad, because they should have tens of thousands of members for the chapter.
Right.
Most people miss developing themselves.
Right.
Okay. They go into an organization, they want instant gratification. They want, I didn't sell a house, or I didn't do this. Well, you don't belong to this organization for that reason. You belong to learn from all the people that are members.
Right.
I've been in this industry a long, long time. I have learned so much from the people, the organization, that it still enhances who I am. So, we could talk about the contacts you make, but it's just being around like people that all want to be successful, both from a business, their individual standpoints. I mean, I could say, I think as the board, I've grown personally better as a person being around the group. So it always puzzles me, and I try my best to promote people. But it's like, for $150,
Right.
like, you're just missing
Right.
such a value to yourself personally. It's beyond imagination. But I think we're going to get a lot more people. I mean, our chapter is growing tremendously, but it just should be so much more, right?
I probably should have asked that at the beginning. How many members does your chapter have? Roughly.
Roughly, okay. I think we're reaching our 140-ish mark.
Yeah.
Right
I was
now.
going to say 150. But
I was gonna say 150,
Yeah, all right,
but
so
I
you're
don't know
hovering
why
right there.
145
Okay,
kind of
okay.
stuck in my head for some
I round
weird
up.
reason.
But that's still good. And it's growing, constantly growing.
Yeah, I mean,
growing,
it's a new
yeah.
chapter. You compete against so many things.
Of course.
But I always find it amazing. Like I'll see people, want to go to some event because it's a party. Here, you get a lot more than a party.
Right.
Okay, you get so much professional value. Uh, so it's, it's growing and it's growing very well. But it should, people should really look into it and see how it.
I think we're going to see the growth continue through the years, especially with, Gene being president next year. There's so much passion amongst our board of directors, especially the past few years going into next year as well, that there's more we're going to do. There's going to be more innovation. There's going to be more ideas and creative ways to bring in membership. And it's not just because we want to bring in membership. We truly believe in the value that we have to offer.
Of course.
We're constantly thinking of new ways to throw new events, to spread the word.
Right.
And it's not for any reason other than we're all just very passionate about the mission. We don't get paid for this.
Right.
So if we don't love what we're doing, we don't
I'm glad
love
you said
the
it because
people.
I was going to say it, but you beat me to it.
Yeah, it's like I personally, I love my board of directors. I love the people I work with. And that's what makes me want to continue to work. Otherwise, it's going to become a chore.
Right.
Who wants to do a free chore unless, after you
It's like getting
move out
fired
of
from
your
a
house.
volunteer job, right? How
Yeah,
do you do that?
exactly.
And the board is always looking at membership for future board members.
Yeah.
For future board members. Like, who's going to step up? One day I'll retire, right? So who's going to
Really?
take my...
I think she said you weren't allowed to.
I don't know. He's not. I've
He
told him so
signed
many
something,
times.
yeah.
He keeps saying he will, and then
He's one of the guys. He didn't read the fine print when he signed it.
No.
The one that's,
Perpetuity.
the
It
one
said
that's
perpetuity.
stopping me, there's one person stopping me from retiring. That's my wife. She wants me nowhere
She
near
doesn't want you
home.
home.
All right. Please stay out. Please stay out. So talking about membership increasing, give us some insight and tell us where folks can learn more about you, more about the organization, more about membership, more about these great events that you guys are currently putting on and future events. Where are we going to find you? What are the social handles?
So we have our AREAA.org website,
And
right?
to be clear, AREAA.
Can
right?
can you actually?
I can't. Don't put me on the spot.
Yes, AREAA.org. You can look for the Brooklyn chapter on there, and we have all of our events listed. It very clearly will give you an option to join as a member as well. We also
Just click
have
the buy now button. Everyone, click whatever. Buy now. Join now. Join
okay?
now. Click
Buy
it.
now.
Click it. Join now.
now.
Join now.
And also we have our Instagram page that we've really revamped in the last year. We have all of our event pictures on there. We're actually through there, it's constantly being monitored. So if anyone goes on our Instagram and just sends like DMs us, someone's going to respond to you right away.
Nice.
And Facebook, we're on there as well. Where is this going to be posted? Can I do like a little?
We'll do it. That's why I want to ask all the
Join
handles.
here.
Yeah. Click the link below.
Yeah, it's all there. I'm even my personal Instagram page. It's very Arya centered in terms of where it's like, hey, DM me if you want more information.
Right.
Like we're an open book, like Phil said. It's like my cell phone number is not a secret. You can call me with any questions. You can call me if you're interested in joining. You can call me about an event. I'm gonna put Jean out there and voluntold her.
I like that.
That she's also available to help. Phil can't hide from anyone,
Right.
so he's available to
Yeah,
help.
he's everywhere. You can't.
Yeah.
Everywhere you
So,
look.
If anyone that's in the real estate industry, if they want to just expand their community and be part of something that's as passionate about like your own personal growth as they are with your business growth and also community impact, AREAA is the place to be.
Love it. So we know where to find you. We know what to do. Do we have any closing remarks?
Oh, this was great, and I thank you so much, both of you. As I know both of them quite well, they're just very smart, wonderful people. And I would just say to the audience, this is a good opportunity to be part of a great organization. And at the bank and myself personally, we have a wonderful relationship and a fruitful relationship.
Nice. So for anyone who is listening or watching, this is From the Vault, a podcast put together exclusively for and by Empire State Bank. We encourage you to like, follow, and share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And until next time, we'll see you.